Hello, and thank you for listening to the Clarity 16.2.1 feature supportability training. I am Vib Mehrotra, and as part of this section, we will be talking about the general usability improvements made to Clarity 16.2.1. As part of this section, we will be only talking about the following two items: the Clarity UX, which will adopt the new language and locale configuration change without requiring the user to re-log in. And second, the introduction of Clarity Product Information Center. Note, in this section, we are only talking about these two features. However, there are several other enhancements that are made to the product based on customer feedback. Those improvements and enhancements will be covered in their respective sections. Today we have several customers that have users across the globe which would like to use the Clarity as a product with their own language and locale. When the user logs into Clarity and make the necessary language or locale changes, the product requires them to log out and re-log in before the changes are applied to their Clarity view. As part of this enhancement, we have now made the change so that the user does not need to log out and re-log in order for the language and or the locale changes to take into effect. This request was a monthly winner for Clarity Innovation Process. Secondly, today the help for Clarity is buried under the user avatar. Also, the behavior for the help varies based on if the user is an administrator or a general user. The administrator were shown the Clarity's integrated content experience, also known as ICE, as the help, which will allow them to do search as well as find additional Clarity information from the Clarity community. Whereas the general user was then just navigated directly to tech docs. As part of this release, we are making the behavior consistent for the administrator as well as for the end user, where both will see ICE as the help, as well as the administrator would also see some additional product related announcements that will be sent by the Clarity product management team. With that, let's look at the two functionality in the product. So here I'm logged in as a user in Clarity 16.2.1. Currently the user setting is where the language is English and the locale is English United States. You can see all the labels are in English and all the monetary values have the comma in the US English format, which is a million, and the 100,000, there are commas displayed. So let's go ahead and change the language for this user to Spanish. Changing of the language is done in the same way, which is going into the user settings and changing the language. Note that once I've populated the value, the minute I close this box, the language for the user will change automatically. The same behavior is also listed right here as a message to the user that the change to the language and locale will take into effect as soon as the dialog box is closed. So I'm going to go ahead and close this dialog box. The screen will do a quick refresh and the user language is now changed to Spanish, and you can see that the labels are all in Spanish, whether it is in the product labels right here, in the widgets, as well as the tables. Everything is now being displayed in Spanish. Let's go ahead and now change the locale for this user. So let's go back under the user settings. Let's change the locale also to be in Spanish. And as soon as I close this dialog box, the screen will do a quick refresh and the values should be displayed now in the Spanish format, where you can see now the numbers have a period instead of the comma for the million and the 100,000. So the locale is changed to the Spanish format. Let's go ahead and reset it back, and you can see that if I wanted, I can make both the changes at the same time. So I'm going to reset this back to English, and I'm going to set this back to the English United States for the user. So I can make both the changes at the same time. I do not need to do one at a time. And as soon as I close the box, the screen will do a quick refresh, and now the labels are in English and the locale is in English United States. So the change has taken effect right away. All right, next I'm going to log out and log in as the administrator, and let's look at the new functionality, which is the Clarity Product Information Center. So I'm going to log in as admin. And in order for this new functionality to be available, there is a new feature toggle that the administrator will have to enable. So before I go into the feature toggle, I want to point to the top right part of the product. You would see that I have the user avatar, I have the Clarity bell icon that has all the Clarity notification, and that's it. There is nothing else next to it. If I go into the Modern UX administration, I go into this new feature toggle, and you should review the training section on the feature toggle that is being introduced in 16.2.1. If I navigate into this feature toggle, I can see the several feature toggles that are available to me, and one of them is this global header help icon for Information Center. This is the feature toggle that has to be enabled, and as soon as I enable that, there will be a new help icon that will appear on this top right corner right here. So let's go ahead and enable this. It takes a second, and right away you would see that the help icon has now appeared on this top right corner right next to the bell icon. So the changes take into effect right away as soon as I enable it. So now that the help icon has appeared, the help icon, because I am logged in as an administrator, the first thing you would notice is that the help icon has a number badge right on top. This number badge will be displayed for the administrators only, and the number indicates any product specific announcements that the product management team has pushed out. The Clarity product management team has pushed out to the administrators. When the administrator clicks on this help icon, the Information Center is then displayed. The Information Center has three options at the moment, and more will be added in the future. The very first is help. This is the same help which will then open up the integrated content experience, also known as ICE. So which is, as soon as I click on it, you would see that the information has opened up. I can now go into projects, and it gives me project specific help. If I go into ideas, it gives me idea specific help. This is the same ICE content that exists for all the administrator that is now available through the help icon. The second is the announcement piece. This is the announcement that is coming from the Clarity product management team, and all I have to do is, if I click on the announcement, it will show me the message that has come from the product management team. This can have links to either emails or external websites, but it'll be a short message that would come from the product management team. I can go back out, and then the last one is what's new. The what's new piece is really just the opening of what specifically is new with this version of the product, and all the videos that we are creating right now will then be listed right here for the specific version of Clarity that you are using. If I log out, and let's log in as another user that is going to be just a non-administrator. So I'm going to log in as Alex Garcia, and for this user, you can see the help icon is there on the top right. There is no badge icon for this user because the product announcement is not pushed out to any end user. And when this end user clicks on this help, all that does is automatically opens up the ICE help center for this user. Let's go ahead and log out. And one last thing would be is let's log in as one other administrator. And in this case, also you can see that the help icon, so each user gets their own badge that they will be able to see, and clicking on it they will see the announcements, and they would see the announcements that were sent by the product management team. And this concludes the usability improvement general section. Thank you again for listening to this training section.